Hello, hello. How is everyone on the day before Thanksgiving? I'm sure you're all busy. This is kind of the calm before the storm, before everyone shows up. I'm a little bit early because I have a video to make this afternoon. And this afternoon, we are going to be making dinner for two. Just because you're alone or you're only two doesn't mean you can't have a nice Thanksgiving meal on the quick without spending a lot of money. We all are budget conscious these days. And let me send my little note, tell everyone I'm here. So we're all really budget conscious. So I'm sorry about can you hear my animals? They see me out here, so they think it's time for me to come and play. But my chair is wobbling. Ooh, hey, Heather's chubby hubby. I'm going to say it right this time, or I can just call you hubby because I always get them backwards. How are you doing? Yes, yes, I'm well. It turned out to be such a pretty day. It says it's 38 degrees. That is no way. It's got to be warmer than that. It has to be. Um, this is kind of, you know, the day before we do our family gathering. Uh-oh, I have a bee following you today. Um, and a fly. So I'm outside. Got my coffee though. Hey, broke cowgirl. I'm good. I'm good. Um, one of my children are not going to be here. They usually take off on Thanksgiving week because they work, and he's a school teacher. And so he takes the children somewhere, um, something, just to get out of town and have a good time. Um, that was the year that we went to the Outer Banks in North Carolina. They rented it was actually a house. It was really a nice house off, I guess it's off season. So it was really pretty reasonable considering what it is during season. So this year we're going to be missing him, but we'll see him after Thanksgiving. Two of my children will be here though with their kids. It's Gwen, right? Yes. I'm going to learn y'all's names. I really am. I'm going to learn the names. Sorry about all the roosters and the goats and everything. Hello, Silver Scorpion. And I cannot remember your first name. Oh my gosh. Good morning. It is. I made my pot of coffee and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go outside because it's really nice today. It still says it's 38 degrees. Of course, I'm not sitting in the sun. If I was sitting in the sun, Greg, yes. Um, yeah, it's like when Greg, when you're if you have children and you're always do things at school, you're always known as so and so's mother or so and so's dad. You really don't have an identity. It's so nice to see you guys. Let's see. Gwen is baking pumpkin pies. Yes. Don't apologize for the animal noise. It's part of life on a farm. Yes. Um, I don't hear it anymore. It's crazy. I just really don't hear it anymore. But as I was saying that I'm going to be making Thanksgiving dinner for two for a video. I waited too late to do the whole thing, and I thought, you know what? There's a lot of people out there that are by themselves. Maybe they don't have a spouse, maybe they do. They really don't, some of them don't really know, can think outside of the box, okay, how we're gonna make a meal big enough, um, and not have so much left over and, not spend so much money. Um, yes, hit the thumbs up. Oh, I was trying to put Nightbot on the other day. I guess it did show up. Now, if he says anything offensive to y'all, I'll have to go in and quieten him out. But so I have no idea why he held somebody's message. So I guess I need to hit show and find out who that was. It was Gwen. Why did they do that to you? Um, I don't hear mine until I edit a video. Yes, that's true. And then you're going, oh my gosh, every time I talk, the roosters were talking back. Um, but see, you're cooking for 20 this year. Oh my goodness, really? Oh, well, usually we all get together and there's a delegation of the menu, usually who's ever home is at, they're the ones who do the turkey or the ham, but just because it's easier. And we bring all the sides and the pies and different things, to make it a big meal. But I remember um my husband's grandmother, Grandma Susie, she always lived alone until the last few years. And she loved to cook and make a big Thanksgiving, but she didn't really have the money and she didn't really want to cook for one. So it was always a really big struggle, just cooking for one. And you've got all these leftovers. And I have some ideas about that. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with going ahead and cooking for yourself and then make some TV dinners. You know, there's nothing wrong with homemade TV dinners because they're really good later. Um, so you don't really it doesn't go to waste. But of course, now we have the dollar and a quarter tree store, and you can get almost everything there. I was there a couple of days ago and I thought, you know what? You can get the gravy, you can get the aluminum pans to put it in, you can get the box of generic stuffing, although I'm going to be adding some things to that to make it a little bit more southern dish. Gwen says my MIL is making green beans and my daughter is doing the mashed potatoes and I'm doing the rest. I don't mind at all. I love cooking holiday meals. Oh, I love the smell of the house when you're cooking. Oh my gosh. It's just, the pumpkin pies cooking or whatever it is. Most people have pumpkin pies and pecan. Our family likes the pecan pies too. And my daughter makes a peanut butter pie. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Her dad loves it. And usually she'll do those for his birthdays in February. She usually does that. Makes him one whole pie just by himself, peanut butter pie. It is so delicious if you've never had it. So I will probably be making it or getting her to make it on a video when it comes time. But yeah, um, I did a short video on making the cranberry sauce with oranges, the mandarin oranges, and it was really easy. I've been making it for years. My sister-in-law gave me that idea one year and she made it when I was visiting California. Um, Gwen says I baked 4 pumpkins last week for pies. Really? Wow. Fresh pumpkins. Well, if you saw the video where I had the 30 pumpkins in my car, I didn't get any of those. Those all went to the animals, and those were my 30. Actually, those were my son's 30. Because after he found out I got some for $1 a piece, and I went down to it's a little IGA store. It's a small store here for us, even though it's a chain. Um, And I saw, oh, pumpkins for $1, and they're so good for the animals too. They're so good. Hey, Adventures in Michigan with Lisa. How are you? I'm good. So I got 30 I went down there and those poor people, it's like, "Okay, can you ring me up for 30 pumpkins?" And they looked at me like I was stupid. She's like, "3?" I said, "No, 30." "Oh, well, I'll have to get a manager for that." It's like, "Okay, you got them on sale for a dollar. Don't you know how to ring up a dollar times 30?" So they had to get a manager to do it. So when my son finds out that I got 30 pumpkins for the animals, he's like, "Oh, or do they have any more? Can you go get me some?" So I went down, that's when I went in the truck with mine, and I filled up the back of the truck, totally filled it up. So I went back to get the pumpkins for his animals, and I thought, "What am I gonna put them in?" And I had his little son with him, and that little boy, he's 8, he loaded every one of those pumpkins. I handed them to him and he stacked them in my car. And it's like, okay, you're going to have to sit back there with the pumpkins. You're going to have to scrunch up. You're going to have to scrunch up. And so that's when I got the idea. I thought, you know what? My husband's going to kill me. He always says, don't put hay in the cars. And when you're somewhere and it's like, oh, I really need a bale of hay, but I don't have the truck. And so then I just kinda made a joke out of it about him telling me that I couldn't put hay in the car, but he didn't tell me I couldn't put pumpkins in the car. So I had 30 pumpkins in my car, and, yeah, I mean, it was kinda wild, but and I didn't get to eat any of them. The cows ate them, so I had 30, and I'm down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 pumpkins left. And so they've been really having a treat. They've been having a good time. The goats eat them, the chickens eat them, the ducks eat them, the cows eat them. I don't know if the alpacas, I haven't seen them eating them yet. But everyone else is having a good time, and it's a supplement for their meals. And I did not save one to bake. I sure didn't. And well, I don't really have. I'm at the camper, so I'm not cooking inside the camper. So hey, Nona Grace, how are you? So good to see you. So, yeah, I got all these pumpkins and I didn't know what to do with them. But our tradition when I was growing up is a lot different than what we do now. I remember somebody's telling me they're fixing to find me. I remember us having chicken and dressing. And, if they didn't get a turkey that year, because they would go out and kill the turkey, and bring it home for my mother to use. Yes, it's a wonderful treat for the animals, Lisa. And so we would have, if we didn't have a turkey or we didn't have any venison, we had chicken. And we always had chicken running around in the yard. And I guess that's where all the roosters went. And my mother made chicken and dressing. Always made it. Even if she had a turkey, she made chicken and dressing. And honestly, I did not know anything about uh white meat and dark meat. All I knew is that we always got the legs, and probably the thighs, because there was quite a few of us small ones. But I honestly didn't know the difference. I didn't know that there was chicken breasts, that the white meat and dark meat. I didn't know all that. And I think she always put the dark meat and the neck meat. You're gonna gross somebody out. But we ate the neck meat, and I always joked to the kids about that I got the chicken feet when I was growing up, that we were lucky to get the legs and the feet. And, uh, well, and I saw them in the grocery store the other day, and they call them chicken paws. Chickens don't have paws. Those are feet. So I don't know who came up with chicken paws, but they do sell them in this little it's like a little mom and pop. So yes. Yes, I did start early, Gummy Doolittle. Sorry about that. I was out and I thought I better make sure that my computer is going to behave today and the internet's going to behave. And darned if the people next door at the church, they were cutting the grass. And I thought, oh, please get the grass cut so that I won't have to deal with the lawnmower. I'm going to have to go inside. Lisa says, I like a dressed chicken instead of turkey. Yes. I love smoked turkey. That's my favorite way to eat turkey is smoked. Nona Grace said, I have never eaten chicken feet. Yes. But no, and I don't have any plans on eating it these days. But honestly, my mother cooked everything. And to get the chicken neck, I mean, that was like we fought over that. See, there was my mother so I am the third youngest. So there's two more boys below me. And my sister, Gummy Doolittle, she was 2 years older than me. And then we had a brother that passed away when he was 5 from polio back in the 50s. And then I had an older brother that lives in Texas now. Yeah, yeah. See, Nona Grace knows about the chicken necks. Um, so yeah, we grew up in the same household. Our siblings that are older, they were had different mothers, and hey, oh my goodness, the cat just jumped up and put his paw over the camera. Oh my goodness. Um, Sorry about that. Hey Danny, how are you this morning? So yes, you know, if there wasn't, but the adults, there was always at least two adults in the household, and my uncle was there a lot. So it was kind of a tradition though that my mother always made the chicken and dressing. So yes. Now, let me tell you guys, this is the funniest story that I have ever heard about her chicken. I don't know the circumstances of it. Danny says about to film my Noodle November video. Thought I'd pop in and say hello. Oh, I'm so glad you did. Yes, I got my Noodle November done last week. So um, uh, even though I'm going to do another video today about Thanksgiving, making Thanksgiving for two. Um, but this story is my mother, she made baked chicken. She put it in the oven, she made baked chicken. And we had one of those type of tables that had the center part. Hey, organized pineapple, so nice to see you. Um, our table was like one of those, it looked kind of like it was gray and then it had metal around the edges of it. It was really a vintage table back then. We didn't know it was vintage. Uh, yes, thank you. Um, and she had this spread. She had it all on the table, and mind you, I was told this story later. I don't remember, even though I was there. And my uncle comes in and my dad comes in. They had been working outside, and they come in and he goes to sit down. And mind you, my uncle is at that time he was 6'4", I believe, and he wasn't a fat man, big man. He was a big man, just like her, real burly. Um, and he goes to sit down, everybody's at the table. And instead of him moving his chair up, y'all know where the story's going. He gets a hold of the table and he tries to pull the table up to him. Well, the table split, everything on the table fell down in off the table, fell down through the middle. And mind you, we had dirt floors. This was in the log cabin. So her dinner was in the floor, and she started bawling because she was so upset the whole dinner. I mean, she's got all these children, and um, the roasted chicken is in the floor, and my uncle picks it up. He puts it back on the table, and he said, "Oh, little dirt never hurt anybody." And they ate it because, I mean, they were hungry. But I guess it didn't get that dirty. But I mean, all of the other dishes, but he picked up that chicken. Little dirt won't hurt anybody. So that was my Uncle Doc, my dad's brother. And I mean, he just blew it right over, and he ate her meal and was happy. Um, Donna says, I never heard mom tell this story. You didn't? Yes. Um, I had a chance to go with my mother the last year, actually the spring before she passed. And she wanted to go visit all of her cousins and all of her relatives, but she did not want to go alone. So, um, what she did is she flew me to California because she didn't want to fly by herself. And I went to a wedding, and then we flew back to Georgia. We got in the car and we drove all over Oklahoma and Texas. I think we probably drove 4 or 5 thousand miles. We drove everywhere, visited every cousin, and I mean everyone. And she told me a lot of the things that, because I would ask her, I would say, "You got any good stories?" And she says, "No, I don't remember any." But you have to ask them specifically about something or someone in order to jar their memory about something. And that was her memory about her really fantastic uh was Thanksgiving meal that Uncle Doc actually just destroyed, but he tried to make her feel better. He was always so good to her. Um, let's see, who did I miss in the chat? Anybody who came in? Gwen says my grandma had a table similar. The top was red, base was chrome. Yes, it had chrome legs too. And I can't remember, it's more like the Formica type tabletop. I'm so glad you came, Danny. I'm glad you popped in. I figured that I wouldn't get to see a lot of people because everybody is really busy. But my cooking is not going to start until later this afternoon. Uh, oh, Danny says I can't. Oh, I actually did a video where Jim dropped a piece of cheese, and I told him he had the 3-second rule to pick it up and eat it, and it was okay. Yeah, I mean, we grew up that way. Danny says, "I can't do that at my house. I have dogs, cats, and chickens, and I just can't." No, they would grab it before 3 seconds is up. But yeah, it happened just the other day. My 8-year-old, he was up at the farmhouse, and it's all torn up, and the floors are dirty and dusty, and he drops a piece of cheese or something, and he picks it up, and I said, "Don't put that in your mouth." He said, "It's the 3-second rule." And I said, "Well, not in this house. This house is torn apart and it's dust everywhere. No, you can't do that." Gwen says, "We always had Thanksgiving and Christmas at my grandma's. Mom made 25 pies each holiday and we took them all to grandma's. The trunk was full and we all had to hold a pie for 3-hour drive." Oh my gosh. How did you hold a pie without not pinching off a little piece of it? They were probably covered up with aluminum foil. Um, Donna says Turtle drops a lot of food. Bless his heart. Don't bother him. No, I mean, sometimes when you have special needs, they don't understand if they drop something that they shouldn't really put it in their mouth. Yes, covered with foil. That's when we had aluminum foil, which was so thin that um, it's a lot better these days. That is a lot of pies, isn't it? Yes. I can't imagine how many people that actually fed, um, if someone had that many pies. What do you do? I guess everybody takes leftovers home when it's over. So you always have to do disposable pans and stuff. Back then, I don't know if we did that, had disposable or not. Um, Gwen says pumpkin is my favorite. Coconut meringue runs close second. Oh, I don't think I've ever had. I have lemon meringue, but I don't think I've ever had coconut meringue. But I love coconut pies and coconut cakes, and I like a pie called buttermilk pie. Y'all remember those? Oh, that's like that's good. That's more like the coconut pies, but the buttermilk pies. Gummy says pecan is for her. She likes the pecan pies. And yeah, my husband loves the pecan pies. He buys those little bitty ones, those little tiny ones at the Walmart. They used to be 50 cents. They went up to 74 cents. I said, "Well, you can buy a whole pie for $2 more and, you get a lot more." Gwen says, "Yes, I make buttermilk pies too. They are good." They're very good. For those who haven't had them, they're kind of like a custard, um, and they're real crusty on top. Oh my gosh, they're so good. There's a little place up near Athens, Georgia, and it's a little town, and the name of the restaurant, I think it's called Yesterday's Cafe, but buttermilk pie is one of their it's like like their signature pie there. Oh my gosh. And it comes out warm. It's so good. Danny says my nana is making mandarin orange cake. Oh, that's good. And banana pudding and pecan, I think. I'm just bringing green bean casserole, and I have to beg them to let me contribute. So they're so stubborn. Yes, but green bean casserole is great, and it's always a good staple for the holidays. Always. Buttermilk pie is the cheapest and easiest pie to make. Yes, and for those who don't care for buttermilk, don't let that scare you. You don't taste buttermilk. Honestly, you don't. Hey, Hillbilly's Creativity. Nice to see you. Um, yes, let's see. That and we usually have a cranberry pie for Christmas. Oh, I don't think I've ever made cranberry pie. That sounds good. Um, that sounds really good. Now all of a sudden somebody is using a chainsaw. Okay, so we have to deal with that. Green beans. Um, I made the cranberry. I I started making the cranberry relish with the orange in it about maybe 15 years ago. One year, Ocean Spray, you would get it at Christmas time, and it would be a really small little container with that cranberry relish in it. And I only found it one year, and I liked it so much. And my sister in law says, "Oh, I make that." And she showed me how to make it. And so I've been making it since, but you have to use whole cranberries. You can use fresh or you can use canned. But honestly, I did not find one pack of cranberries in my store this year, not one. And usually they have them left over and then they mark them down. And that's when I like to buy them and put them in the freezer. Um, Danny says, I turned 32 Thursday. Yay! Happy birthday early, Danny. I saw all of your great gifts. Oh my gosh. They were just so cool. I had to watch it the second time on the other channel. Let's see. And this is my first holiday that they're letting me bring something. I'm like, I've been growing up and cooking for a while now. Yeah, it's like, okay, guys, I got a daughter and I've been making meals and I'm not starving. Can I bring something? Yeah, and they say, "Oh, we're gonna have plenty. You don't need to bother." Right? We're gonna have plenty. There's gonna be more than we can eat. You don't need to worry about it. I can hear it now. Gummy, since we are camping, my meal is tomorrow will be grilled and bakery made pies. Mincemeat pie with Granny Smith apples chunks added, and no one likes it but Turtle. I love mincemeat pie. And it doesn't have any meat in it, y'all. For those who don't know about mincemeat pie. Um, exactly. Exactly. Um, yeah, y'all go watch Danny's. She opens up all of her gifts. Oh my gosh. I want to adopt some of those people. Well, they actually do come on the lives. Some of the same people do. But it's like, oh my gosh. I'm not even going to tell you what you got, but you need to go watch it. Definitely need to go watch it. Um, and I'm sure that somebody has dropped Danny's her drop her link for that video, but it was her birthday in a hall. I forget the exact name of it. Let's see. Danny says I have been blessed by my YouTube family for sure. Yes, you know what? There's so many nice people that they take you under their wing and they help you if you need help and they're there for you when you need um because there's any number of my YouTubers that I could send a message and say, "Hey, can you call me? I need some help with something." And they drop everything and they come and help you and they are so generous. Um If there's an issue, they will all band together and help you. That is for darn sure. Um, let's see. Gummy says my meal will be homemade on Saturday at home with the kids and grandkids. Okay, so yeah, they're enjoying the Morro Bay and all of the neat stuff over on the coast right now. So it's pretty cool. Um, Nona Gray said I was camping for Thanksgiving. The turkey was cooked under a new garbage can. Really? That's new to me. I haven't even thought. Now I would take my Dutch oven. I have one that we call a bean pot, but it's a Dutch oven too. But I also have the big frying pan Dutch oven, and I like to cook on the camp stove with those. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. That really good. That's something different. There's a lot of people that camp on holidays, and some they may not have extended family. And maybe that's just their way of relaxing because this is their, few days off. Um, some get a little more than others. Nona Gray says, I cook my turkey in an electric roaster. Is that like an electric frying pan but larger? I've never seen one of those. Um, an electric roaster. Now I used to love that electric fry pan and I really miss having one, and I guess one day I need to buy another one because I do like to cook chicken in that. For some reason, those electric fry pans cooks the best chicken. Danny says I'm cooking Thanksgiving meal for my husband and kids today, then tomorrow to grandmother's, and then Friday to Nana's house. Lots of eating. You might gain 30 pounds over the next 3 days. Yeah, and you'll take a lot of naps, right? What is that stuff that you get from the turkey? All I remember is that Seinfeld that Seinfeld show about the stuff in the turkey that puts everybody to sleep, and then they play with their toys. Um, I forget what it's called. um, Gummy says I'll be having chicken and gravy, not turkey this year. Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. I mean, it's fine. You can get one that's already roasted. At all the markets have, um, the roasted chickens already, and they're very good. They're very good. Yeah, oh yes, she's going to need a nap after being around my family. I love them, but oh me. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you can also it's a great way if you're really, you don't want in that conversation that Aunt Margaret's having with Uncle Ben. Let's just pretend we're sleeping. Yeah. Tryptophan. Yeah. Thank you. I know that the hubby could tell us what that was. Tryptophan. Yeah, now I wanna go watch that Seinfeld issue. I just love that one, and he's playing with all of her special toys. Um, but yeah, tryptophan. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of I don't remember um much about the holidays because I mean it was just like another day for us unless we were going to our grandma Pope's. Grandma Pope was like 4'5", I think, and she toted a pistol in her apron pocket all the time, mind you. When people would come over, and especially now, she was like this, Danny, too. She would never let us bring anything, um, because she didn't want anyone else's food brought into her kitchen because she believed that if you had a bathroom in your kitchen, it was not sanitary. She had a bathroom and it was padlocked. We had to go to the outhouse. Yes, kinda like your grandma, huh, Gwen? And Grandma Pope she would welcome all the family in, but she preferred to do the cooking, and when she cooked, she made a big old turkey, she cooked fried pork chops, I mean, she cooked everything that she could, but her sisters would come and they would bring a dish, a casserole, always a casserole seems like, or a pie, and she would put it in the kitchen, but she never served it. She never would open up their meal and serve it in her house because she knew they had those open bathrooms. And when they left, she threw them in the trash or out to the pigs. She would not, especially if they had a dog or a cat in the house, she wouldn't allow them. She would not allow them in her house. So she preferred to um, make her own meals in her own house. She didn't want you bringing anything. She wanted to cook her own food. So that was just the way she was, but you didn't argue with grandma, and her sisters probably knew that, they're like, "Hey, you didn't bring that casserole out." And she would make up some excuse, I'm sure, about it, but she would not serve that food on her table. Nona Grace says, "Hey, old ways, gardening and prepping. Nice to see you, Teresa." Um, Nona Grace says, "Wow, our bathroom was off the kitchen when my dad built it. Before that, we had to use the pot in the basement. In the summer, the outhouse." Yes. Um, I do remember having there's this little white pot underneath the beds. I mean, this was in the 50s, so early on, we didn't have bathrooms, or if we were at Grandma Pope's house, that's, I mean, if you didn't want to go outside and freeze your little tootie off, you just use the pot. That's why they called it a chamber pot, because it was in your chamber. But she had a thing about bathrooms, and she took a bath in the summer. She took a bath in the pond, and she took her bath in the wash tub when it was winter, and it was always in the kitchen near the potbelly stove where it was warm. But she did not believe in those bathrooms, and if you think about it, the bathrooms are very close to the kitchens, very. But she she's like, nope. She lived in a tent for many years because they would work in the cotton fields and peanuts and whatever they grew in Oklahoma. Mostly is probably cotton and potatoes. Let's see. Always gardening prepping. Wonderful to see you. Thank you. Taking a small break in between waiting for the pot liquor to warm up before starting the greens cooking. Oh, are you cooking collards or turnip greens today? I really wish I had visited my grandparents, but mine were all gone too long before I was born. We had a potbelly stove too. Did you, Nona Grace? Oh, nice. Um, I wished I had one these days. Gwen says that's because when you get in the water, it always makes you have to go tinkle. Yes, it does. It does. Let's see, they did that too to save pipe costs. Yeah, because I mean they were already running it back then. They didn't have showers. I don't know when showers came into play, but they had tubs, and they had, a toilet and a sink. I mean, it was basic. But they always hers was off the back porch, which was still right next to the bathroom, to the kitchen. And she would not she I mean, she had it totally padlocked, and she was the only one who had the key. And she could pull it. She had a string, like a bungee string, tied around her waist with, I mean, a wad of keys that big. And most of those keys, she thought she had the only key. But my Uncle Doc made duplicates of it a long time before she even realized it. But she would padlock those bathrooms, and you couldn't wash your hands in there. If you needed to wash your hands, you washed them in the kitchen sink or outside. What did they call it? The faucet. you know, you had to go to the faucet to wash your hands, and you had to go out to the outhouse with the Sears Roebuck catalog. That was just the way she was, and you always knew it when you went to her house. But Teresa's cooking a mixture of curly mustard and turnip greens. The collards are nowhere big enough yet. Oh, they're not, because they were in the store. This little mom and pop IGA that I went to and got all the pumpkins. um, I saw a lady with a buggy, no lie, a buggy, and it was heaping over with all the collards. I mean, these were big old packs of collards, and they were about $4.50 or $5 for one of those big bundles. And I thought, oh, they must have collards on sale. So I went around there. You know what? There was nothing but some little leaves left. She got every one that was in the store. And so I don't know how many people she was feeding. Now I do like turnips in my turnip greens. I do like, and I like the salt pork in there too. So yeah, I grew up that way. Nona Gray said we had a tub, but the water was difficult, so we carried it to flush the toilet, and the bath was in a wash tub. Yeah, in a wash tub. And then when you're done, it was poured out over the whatever was growing, and then she hung that wash tub on the side of the wall on the outside. I remember that. Um, hey, Worcestershire Project off grid. Nice to see you. So glad you stopped. I know it's busy today. It said for 1 year later, got around to getting an indoor shower working. Uh-oh, I missed the first one. Um, kids and wife are happy. Yeah, I bet they are. And we use dry composting here, 5-gallon tinkle buckets and 5-gallon sawdust shavings for digested foods. Works great. You know what? There's nothing there's nothing more satisfying in doing things like that without um depending on something more modern, because like when you go camping, that's why people go camping. They want to experience the off-grid, experience without worrying about, oh, there's honeybee in front of me, without worrying about, what you need or what you don't need. That bee is going to be all over me. I must smell good. um Gwen said my collards are up but not very big yet either. Okay. Yeah, it's a shame that I didn't get any. So if I'm gonna get them, I have to go down there every day in the morning when they restock. This was kind of in the afternoon, so when they restock, then, I only want 1 bundle because there's only 2 of us, and my husband will eat just a little bit, but he doesn't eat a lot of them. But, um I do love collards, and I didn't plant any this year because I've got the house remodeling going on, and I've got my hands full of just that and feeding the animals this year. Um so I didn't. Yeah, I'm bad. I got plenty of room to do it, but it got away with me. Teresa says they were out of ham hocks and hog jowl, so I bought some sliced country ham and cut it up. Yeah, and this store the other day when I was trying to get some of those collards, they had hog jowl, smoked hog jowls, and it was only like $1.15 a pound. It was really inexpensive. And so I got several packs, and it looked just like bacon, and I sliced that stuff up and cooked it like bacon. It was so good, and made a pot of beans too. Nona Grace says, I had to live without public water when I got married. I had one request. We would not have a well. We would have unlimited public water. So that's what you wanted when you got your real place, right? Um, Gummy says we can ask the veggies department to go back and bring more out if they have it. Yeah, I couldn't find anybody that worked in the vegetable area. There used to be always somebody there prepping and cleaning up and making sure there was no spoilage, and they would actually give you the spoilage if you were a farmer. Now they won't do it. They throw it in the trash, and they have a big old sign that says no dumpster diving. Yeah, but when they leave, I mean, it's public, you know. It's not chained off or anything. Um Wickershire says heating, we now use an Olympia Wave 6 catalytic propane heater. Oh, nice. It uses 50% less propane than the ceramic style buddy heaters. Wave 6 dry heat, the buddy heater produced tons of wet heat. Oh, really? Yeah, you don't want to go that way. Um, let's see. Nona Gray says I make pork hocks at Christmas time in my spaghetti sauce. My son and I are the only ones that eat the hocks or feet. Um, Gummy says nobody wants to work. That's true. It's finding someone who knows anything about anything. They just like that one lady didn't know how to ring up 30 pumpkins for $1. It's like I wanted to just slap my head and go, "Oh, you got to be kidding me," but I didn't wanna be rude, I kept thinking, "Well, get your manager, get your manager. I'm not gonna tell him how to do it, just get your manager." Greens were 79 cents a bunch, and lordy, it was a struggle to grab some because they were getting baskets full. Yeah, it's like, I just need a bundle, just, share the love here. Don't take everything available. I just need one. And about the heating, when we're redoing the bathroom in the farmhouse, and my husband ordered the water heater. It's a waterless heater. It's like this wide, that tall, and maybe that deep. And I said, "Where's the water heater?" And he says, "Right there in that box." And I go, "That's a little box. I thought it was a laptop or something. That's what the type of box it looked like." So we've got it hooked up now. We haven't finished. We can't use it yet because um we haven't cut the stuff to the other shower yet. But yeah, it says no well here, or you don't want one. 100% rainwater, and I love rainwater. 53 inches per year in this part of Tennessee. We added more 55-gallon barrels soon. We're adding. Um, Adjusting to the indoor shower, everyone forgets water management. Yes, you really don't need that much water to bathe. You really don't. Um, that's why some people just take a shower in the sink, because you just really don't need but a gallon of water. Hey, Mennonite Farmhouse, so nice to see you. Hope everything is better on the farm with the corn. So nice. Nona Grace says I use wash my hair in the rainwater. Oh, okay, yes, it does. I do save rainwater. I fill up all the animals' water, and I can make soap out of the rainwater also. I can use that in my soap making. So, yes, and we have a spring also that we use. Um and we have city water, but I prefer to use the spring, the well, and the rainwater also. I like the feel of your hair when you wash it in rainwater. Um no, no, let's see. Oh, you're canning pumpkin, really? Nice. I haven't caught up with all of my videos, trying to get all of my stuff together, and it's hard to cook Thanksgiving dinner when you're in a camper. Um, because some of my things are over in the farmhouse, and then I have to carry it down to one of my kids' houses, and I use their stove in their kitchen because it's really nice. They got nice kitchens, so I like to utilize them when I can. Yes, y'all go check out a Mennonite Farmhouse. Leanne is excellent cook. I love to watch her cooking videos. And I just drool over some of the stuff that she cans. We still have about 200 acres of corn to harvest, and I hope to have it done by Christmas. Oh my gosh. Um, I saw your husband is just working like a fool, isn't he, trying to get all that done? And they had just a horrible fire. And so trying to save as much corn as they can before the weather changes. Um, let's see, we do own a tankless water heater, two pole 3,200 watts per hot leg. Yeah, and that just flew right over me. But I know how you're describing it. I will be doing a full detailed explanation of install and product review. Our main goal is to insulate to the entire system. Yes, yes. Gummy says, "Thank you, Danny. Always make that the first thing when I got to go to anyone's channel. Thank you so much." Yes, Danny's really good about reminding people to hit the thumbs up because it really does help whatever channel you're watching. It really does make a difference. I'm shaking. I've got y'all sitting in a chair. Did y'all know you were sitting in a chair and having coffee? Hey, look at this. Do you like this vintage cup? This thing is stoneware and it's still got coffee in it. But on the bottom of it, it says that it was made in Marshall, Texas. when I was doing my antique hunting, I found this at an auction, and there was only one. I love it, and it's really thick, like stoneware. It's very, very nice. I love stoneware. Um, the plates get a little heavy when you have arthritis, but other than that, they're really sturdy. Let's see. Nona Gray said I will show the electric roaster that I spoke of in tonight's video. Oh, good, good. Can't wait to see that. Um, Leanne says, yes, we are all already had sleet and ice last week, and it's going to be tough, but I gave it to the Lord. Yes. I mean, you have to work with the weather. I mean, regardless, you have to work with what you have. And, um, you know, Teresa says, yes, also always click the like button before coming into the chats. I always click the like button before coming in because it's an easy thing to forget, because if you get sidetracked and you have to get off, then you forget to go back and do it. So I would rather go ahead and do it because I know that I'm there because I'm going to like what they say anyway, you know, and I know that I'm there to support them anyway. So, I like them as a person, and I'm going to hit the like button. Um, so I have never gone back and unliked content. Never have. Um, Teresa says, love to find the old stoneware. Yes, and you're only going to find one or two pieces here and there. I mean, it'd be really rare to find a whole set of anything. And this one, Marshall, Texas, was really, I've never been there. Well, I've driven through there, but I've never been to this pottery place. And I think they still make the stoneware there. That's something I have to look up. Hey, Hand 141 Homestead, T Hand. The T is way off to the side on mine. How are you doing? So glad you came in for a little bit. I know y'all are busy with your holiday cooking. Mine's gonna be, I'm gonna be working on it this afternoon because I don't have any storage place, so I'm just gonna have to get up really early and get it. I'm not doing the turkey this year. My son's doing that on the smoker, so I'm just doing some side dishes, dressing and sweet potato casserole. Yes. I'm glad you're doing good. Are you making a big meal for the holiday, or y'all going somewhere else to other family members? Thank you for putting all the links up. I appreciate that. Um, because I never have a problem with you um dropping links or collaborations, things that we might not know about. I don't ever have a problem with anyone letting us know there's a collaboration going on that we might be interested in. I don't have a problem with that. I wish I had a smoker for my turkey. It's a 19 pounder. Yes. Yeah, I saw that little grill that you I forget what you cooked on it during one of the collaborations. I saw Howard setting it up for you. Um but my son has a huge Rectech, and he has my small one also. But I can't put a turkey in mine. But he can put a turkey in his, and he's going to split the breast and smoke it open. There's a word for that, and I can't remember how to say it, but yeah, there is a word for that. Um, let's see. Let's see. Gummy said I had to pay $2 each for small cups, but they had a lot of matching dinner plates. Um, guess it was a small and pop old cafe closed up. Was that at the dollar? I mean, not the dollar. It like the Salvation Armies where you found a thrift store somewhere. You found those. That's where you're going to find your older stoneware, most of it. And who cares if it's mismatched? I don't care. I would rather have it, and I don't mind, paying a buck for them or $2. Well, she's in California, so maybe they charge more up there. But some of the best antiques that I found was up in Kentucky and Pennsylvania and Tennessee. I mean, um, up the Smoky Mountains, up in those areas. Those are some of the best places that I found some really cool vintage cookware and stuff. Um, let's see. What is Oh, you're cooking vegetables in your garden, Leanne? That sounds good. That sounds great. You could probably, I mean, I know you can cook a whole meal from your pantry, because you're that good with with a variety of things. Teresa said decided not to smoke one of the turkeys this year. Came close to frying one until I saw the peanut oil was $50 a jug. Really? I didn't even check that out, but we weren't gonna fry them. But I didn't even oh my gosh, I cannot believe that. It used to be like $25 for one of those. Um, T-Han says, "I'm going to my brother's for Thanksgiving. I will make oyster dressing, as both my niece and I love it. I don't make it as good as my wife did, but it's still good." I have heard of oyster dressing. I I think I only had oysters one time and they were deep fried. Yeah. I just I don't spatchcock, is that how they say it? Yes, yes. I knew it was something that I would probably butcher if I didn't see it written. So, yeah, I have never had oyster dressing. Now, we were over in Savannah one time at Paula Deen's restaurant, and she had, like a well, it was one of her restaurants. It was like a oyster dressing, and, I don't think I had it, but I know that she has a recipe for that too. Um, yeah. We do what we can, and sometimes there's things that we really like all year round, but we only have them once a year. And I don't know why we only have them once a year, because they really aren't any more trouble than making a regular meal, most of the time. I see tons of places of mom and pop shops, Salvation Home stores, super cheap prices. Yes, thrift stores. We have a Catholic, it's a Catholic, it's like a thrift store. People donate and all the money goes to, um the Catholic programs, and, you can find the best stuff there. Oh, it is really cheap, and they're so nice. They're so happy that you're there shopping with them, and they go out of their way to help you. Gummy says she's in Cayucas on the beach. Cayucas? That's where you were. Yeah. Let's see. Yes, Wickershire. I love old stuff from the thrift shops. Funds are much needed for us seniors. Yes, we have to pitch pennies just like the young folks do. Danny Days, I have to go to Mississippi, Linda. I truly enjoyed your company. Oh, we enjoyed your company too. And we hope you have three really great Thanksgiving meals and a happy birthday. Y'all say happy birthday to Danny. Tomorrow's her birthday. We're not going to ask her how old she is, but knowing her, she's somewhere in that 3-0 mark. She's pretty young. She's like one of my kids. But and safe travels too. If you have to travel too far, please remember that. And we'll see you on the next one for sure. Um, let's see. Um, let's see. Saint Vincent de Paul. Yes. Um, yeah, something like that. And then that store is in Augusta. So I just know that it's a Catholic, it is Catholic run, and it's run by nuns, I believe. So, but they're super sweet, and they just they care that you're there, and it doesn't matter if you buy something for $1. They really care that you came and that they blessed you with something that you needed. Um, let's see. Teresa says, my brother makes a great oyster stew and chowder. Oh, yeah. That he would love that, or they would love that. Mennonite, let's see. Leon says Friday is my mother's 80th birthday. Oh, bless her heart. Wow. My husband's mother was 82. She lived with us until she was 82. And she was the funniest thing. When you get 80, so all those young people, when you get 80, you can have no filter. You can say what you want, and sometimes she would say stuff that actually would, my poor daughter-in-law, she hurt her feelings and she was pregnant and she said something about, "Boy, you're getting fat." And, you just don't tell a pregnant woman that. Yeah. Um, but she had no filter and she told you what she thought regardless, and she didn't realize that she was hurting anyone's feelings, or it was just she was okay, he's gonna keep crowing. But she did not have a filter on her at all, but I never took it as an insult because I knew how she was, and if she told me something and she remembered something, well, you gotta go on. He's getting closer. Hey, I think he thinks I'm talking to him. Yes, yes. Um, so she was just that way and she was very blunt about it, and if if so and so did something to her, um, she would call him out on it, But yes, 80 years old, it's amazing, you know, it is amazing. You know, I got another 20 years to get there. I hope I'm still walking by then, and yeah, my sister-in-law's mother, I think she's 95. Oh, yes. Yes, Rooster Stew, yeah. Oh, he left, he left. See, he's getting further and further away. Tian says my mom is 86 and also has no filter. So I think it's an accepted way when you get a certain age. She can go to the grocery store, and if they're in her way and they're gossiping, and she'll say, y'all need to take that somewhere else, and she just says it. So, they're just she lived in a world that she didn't lie about anything, she didn't sugarcoat anything, because I mean that's the way she grew up, and that is exactly Rooster Stew. I'll have to remember that next time he comes around here. But now oysters dressing, is that more of a New England dish? Um I mean, it's not a Southern dish for me, but, I just wondered if it was a New England dish, um, 'cause it seems like oysters and seafood of that nature, that it's more prevalent up there. Oh, I'm glad you came, Teresa, and I hope you have uh-oh, the stew pot is, heating up now, the water's heating up. Um, I hope you have a good day tomorrow and y'all get lots to eat and um, have plenty left over. And think about this. If you have someone who lives nearby and they're alone, or it's a couple and they don't get out much, take them a plate. Just take them a plate. Good morning, Joanne. So to see you. But just, pack up a little TV dinner plate and take them food. They probably will eat on it for days because they just nibble but that's what I would do if I had extras, and we don't have any neighbors that are like that. But where we're at. But yeah, just take them a plate and say, just wanted to make sure you had a nice Thanksgiving. And we'll see y'all when you come back, Teresa. You're gonna do a video on cooking them turnip greens? Ooh, I bet it smells good in your house. Cornbread dressing. It was, I mean, we grew up on cornbread dressing. Now, our cornbread dressing had fresh biscuits. She would make fresh biscuits and fresh cornbread to put in them. Um, that's the way we grew up. The saltines were saved for my dad because he liked sardines, and you know the saltines was a store-bought thing, and she made bread every day. So our dressing was always with um some type of biscuits. Now some put light bread and croutons and different things in it. And really you could I mean you can just put anything in it and make it really good. I'm not sure why, but my mom's recipes come from her youth in upstate New York. Okay. And my dad's family from Florida, Georgia, and Bama, really? So I'm not sure where it come from. Well, probably came from up north then. Um, I would assume. Um, yes, here it is always a traditional cornbread dressing. Yes. And absolutely. Gwen says I use biscuits. Oops, it jumped. I use biscuits if I have some left over, but usually it's 2 skillets of cornbread and toasted bread. Yes. This year I bought some of the, Walmart has the big loaves of it's not French bread. It's just, the big loaves of bread. And I cut them up and I toasted, like croutons. So I toasted them. I didn't season them or anything because I season it another way. But I mean, it was a dollar. It was a dollar for that loaf of bread, and you can't even buy a loaf of bread for $3 anymore. So, yeah, I don't mind using the day old bread because I'm going to toast it and use it that way anyway. Um, let's see. Teresa says, "Oh, you posted this morning the old fashioned carrot cake, and this afternoon be posting the eggnog cookies." Oh my gosh, y'all got to go check out that old fashioned carrot cake is so good, so good. It reminds me of the hummingbird cake that it takes forever to make a hummingbird cake for me. But eggnog, I do like. I love eggnog. I don't think anyone else in my family drinks the eggnog. Now, if you made cookies and you didn't tell them what was in it, they would eat it. Um, let's see. Heather's hubby says, I think you need to authorize Nightbot. It keeps trying to hide the messages. Okay, I'll go back and I was trying to figure it out on my own, and he is hiding the messages. He's being a night butt today. Gummy says, now I am getting hungry. Dressing and cranberry relish is really the only thing that I love the best during the meal. I bet I eat a bowl full of dressing before it gets on the table. Yeah, you got to taste the dressing. You have to taste it before you cook it. I usually taste it before I put the raw eggs in it. Although raw eggs aren't going to hurt you if you just put them right in and bake it. So I do, and then when it's done, then I've got to taste it again because you got to make sure it's right, you know? And so yeah. Um Leanne says, I'm so glad I learned how to bake sandwich bread. Oh wow. Do you hand cut it too so you can cut it the thickness that you like? Um Gwen says I don't taste my dressing before I cook it. Oh really? I usually do because I want to make sure it has enough salt and enough of the poultry seasoning in it. Because I do like, I don't like it real sagey, but I like the poultry seasoning because it gives it a little better. Gummy says I don't put raw eggs in mine, just broth. Well, I also put some milk in mine. Hey Chuck, how are you? I'm so glad you stopped to say hello and happy Thanksgiving to you and Blenda and family. So nice to see you. Um, okay, now junk. I got junk all over my covering up my face. Um, Leanne says she uses the electric knife to cut her sandwich bread. Yeah, I guess it would be a lot easier, and then you don't squash it. Um, Gwen says, I go by smell. Love sage. Always said that if it doesn't smell green, it doesn't have enough sage in it. Yeah, I put too much sage in it before. That's why I started tasting mine because I put too much. But my husband's grandmother, Grandma Susie, she used to put about a cup of milk in hers. So at the very end, if it wasn't moist enough, that's what she would add to it at the very end. Instead of more stock, she added a little bit of whole milk, and it really made it moist when she took it out. So that was her little trick for me when I first started cooking, because I knew nothing about cooking, and I really don't know that much about cooking now, but we haven't starved. So so I'm glad you stopped. Everybody stopped. Oh my goodness. I can't believe we're already an hour and it's just before you know it. And I know you all have so much. Okay, there's another rooster. That's a different one. He's going to the pot. We might have that chicken and dressing before the day is up, y'all. If he keeps on. Um, but yeah, and they all started laying finally, so we're finally getting some more eggs. We've finally gone through the molt and they're starting to lay again, but they're laying all over the farm. I have to find these little nests every day. I have to go egg hunting. It's like Easter every day looking for eggs. And that is another thing that my mom put in dressing was boiled eggs. She would dice up boiled eggs and put them in the dressing with the chicken. So it was really a whole meal for us because it had vegetables in it and everything. But and you hardly ever see eggs, boiled sliced eggs in the dressings anymore. Even the ones you get in it, if you happen to eat out, they don't put eggs in it. Maybe they're worried about everybody having allergies and stuff. But yeah. Hey, Tracy. Um, not Tracy. I said Tracy. I was going to read the one above you, and I read both of them at the same time. Um, so Chuck, is Belinda cooking today? And you're going to have all the family over? Let's see. Teresa says high protein cat food will bring them out of molt. Yes. We give them with in our poultry mix, we mix kitty litter. We mix kitty kibbles and oats and sunflower seeds and laying pellets and there's one other thing I can't remember right offhand, but we do use that. I found that on Becky's homestead a long time ago. That's her little formula for feeding her chickens that apparently she's used for years. Um, let's see. Gummy has always had delicious. Oh, my mother, yes, she made the best giblet gravy. And I've heard people call it giblet, but we always grew up as giblet. So I don't know how if if that's the proper pronunciation, but um she always made giblet gravy. And it was the neck meat and the gizzards, and I don't know if there was liver in it or not, but whatever it was, we ate it, you know. Um, uh, Gwen says, nope, no boiled eggs in the dressing or the gravy. Really? Yeah, I mean, you know, we grew up as that was what we had. We always had chickens, we had eggs. So yeah, you just kind of just like with the oysters in the dressing, you know, um, you you really just adapt it to whatever you're used to and what you have available. And you know, there was 6 kids to feed besides the parents and the uncles, and so we always had probably 10 people to eat every day. My mother made 3 meals. She made 2 meals a day, I think. She made breakfast and she would make a early supper. We called it breakfast, lunch, no, breakfast, dinner, and then the night meal was supper. That's what we called it when we were growing up. Let's see. Belinda is cooking today and tomorrow, and some of my family's here in Tennessee is going to come. Oh, nice. Very nice. We just have our 2 of our kids out of town with his family. We have 2 of our kids and their children and spouses, besides me and my husband. So, and we're all doing it here at the farm. So, so we won't have to go far to have our afternoon nap. Definitely. Let's see. Um, Chuck says I always called it giblet and definitely not giblet. Is that right? Or did I say that backwards? Because you know what? It's spelt the same, isn't it, Chuck? It's spelt the same. But you know, I just never knew. I guess it's you know, it's a regional thing, you know, giblets or giblet. Yeah, it's And now, Chuck, what is your favorite pies? Let's see, Gwen has been making pies. What's your favorite pie? And she'll tell you how many pies she made this year. You'll be surprised. But yeah, sweet potato. Yeah, nice. Yes, it always depends on where you come from, Teresa. Absolutely. Pecan, yeah. Tracy likes pecan. Um, I probably mine is the buttermilk pie. That's always been my favorite was the buttermilk pie. Because I can eat pecan pie any day, and pumpkin you can find them anytime in the stores, but you don't see the. Well, I make the buttermilk pie, so yeah, that's one of my favorites is the buttermilk pie and the cake. Now everybody talks about pies at Thanksgiving, but the cake, my favorite cake is German chocolate cake. But only 2 or 3 of us in the family will eat the, coconut in it, and so I don't get it very often at all. Let's see, chocolate fudge pie, oh, that sounds yummy. Tracy has never heard of buttermilk pie. Oh my goodness. I guess I'm gonna have to do a video on buttermilk pie. Maybe I'll do that before Christmas. Because I didn't realize that not as many had heard about that, and I don't know if it's a Southern thing or if it came from somewhere else. But and y'all know you can make your own buttermilk. That's another video. If you don't have it, you can make your own. Teresa probably knows how to do it. Buttermilk pie is amazing. Yes, love it. Um, and but the cakes, coconut cake was always one that my grandma always had on the table, and she had a glass stand with the little dome, and she somebody probably gave that to her, because she didn't buy anything. Um, but she always made a coconut cake, and it was like 7 layers. Oh my gosh, it was the best stuff. Best stuff. Yes, Teresa. Yes. A little milk and a little vinegar. You can make your own buttermilk. Absolutely. It's like making your own butter, you know. I mean, for those who live off grid, I'm sure they know how to do these things that sometimes we take for granted. Gwen says, I think I remember reading that buttermilk pie came about during the Civil War. Probably from spoilt milk that, they had no control over because there's, no refrigerators. Also keep buttermilk powder in stock. You know what? I keep buttermilk powder in stock, but I use my buttermilk powder when I make my soaps. Um, because I don't always I can't right now, can't find goat's milk powder, just because of all the craziness going on, but buttermilk powder is something that you can find. And we always had powdered milk also. We always had powdered milk because I mean, we did have cows, but if the cow would had no baby, then we weren't getting any milk. Um, let's see. Um, Heather's chubby hubby said many years ago, Heather and I were making something that I had canned pumpkin pie filling, and I asked her if she wanted a spoonful of the filling, a spoonful of the filling before I put it in because it tastes just like a pie. Yeah. Um, Gwen says I have a half a fridge full of goat's milk. Do you? I only have one nanny right now that has babies, and she doesn't have a lot of milk, and so I'm letting her nurse the baby. So I'm not saving any of the goat's milk right now. But so I mean, if it was available in the store, I would definitely pick up the powdered goat's milk because it's easy to use. It's easier actually to use in the homemade soaps than the fresh because I always had to freeze it before I used it to keep it from burning. But yeah, so well, y'all, I guess I need to get off of here so y'all can go back to cooking and getting ready for tomorrow, your company, and the reason for Thanksgiving and having all of your family close by. Gwen says, yes, and I made cheese a couple of days ago. I need to get busy making soap and yogurt. Oh, we need to come visit you. She makes cheese. That's something I have not made before. I'm not opposed to finding out how to make it, but that's something that I had never thought about making is cheese. Talking it talking and stirring and tasting the pot liquor. Okay, Teresa, I meant to ask you, what is pot liquor? Tell us what pot liquor is. Um, yeah, I got to fix that Nightbot thing. He's driving me nuts. Um, Gwen says mozzarella cheese is so simple and so good. Do you use the goat's milk for that? And goat's milk, for those who don't know, has a really high butter fat. Thank you. Gummy Doolittle says, Happy Thanksgiving to all. She's leaving. Um, Pot liquor is the juice off of the greens or peas. Okay. Okay. And I love the juice off of the greens. That's the best part is the juice. I could have a little bit of the greens and have a slice of cornbread with the juice. So I didn't know I was drinking the pot liquor, eating the pot liquor. Yes, I use goat's milk to make the mozzarella. Wow, I bet that is really good. Um, Thank you, Tracy. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you guys came on. I love talking about, you know, traditional things. And I guess I'm just a old school type person. Always have been, even when I was young. So glad you all came in and shared a little bit about your Thanksgiving meals and what you're cooking. Y'all don't forget to hit the thumbs up and if you haven't already. 4 pumpkin pies down, 2 more to go. Absolutely. 6 for her this year. That is amazing. And they'll probably have no leftovers of that pumpkin pie. I hope you have a lot of whipped cream to go with it. Love whipped cream. Uh, Old school is the best school. Absolutely. We need to think more about being self-sufficient. Many of you already are and practice those ways. But if we did not have the items at the grocery store, people need to think about how to get them or how to make them, just like making your own buttermilk. You need to think about, if that's what you like, you need to think about being able to do that because the groceries are so darned expensive. And I mean, it's awful. I will hold at least I will hold at least one back for us. Yeah, just forget one. It's like stick it way back in there and just forget it. Cutting back on pies this year, 2 pumpkin, 2 sweet potato, and 2 chocolate fudge. Oh, that sounds so good, Teresa. I'm not sure what all besides the peanut butter pie my daughter's making, and I'm not sure what kind of pies my son's making, but I'm sure he's going to have pumpkin there and maybe sweet potato. But yeah, so we'll all see each other after we stuff our bellies, and um Saturday we'll be wanting pizza instead of leftovers. Or we'll be looking for ways to can those leftovers so we can have them later. Because my husband will not, he'll eat the second time, but he will not eat it. I could eat it 2 or 3 days in a row, but he will not. So, yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, Gwen. I appreciate it. And I really had a good time, you guys. It's so nice that you all came in and shared with me and each other. And I guess we'll see you in a few days. Turkey, chicken, pot pies for leftovers. Absolutely. Yes. Don't forget to take that little plate to your neighbor and share. Absolutely. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. Heather's chubby hubby. Y'all don't eat too much. Take naps. See you. Bye. I'm gonna go heat up my coffee. Love you guys. Bye. Bye, sis. Uh-oh. Yeah, Nightbot doesn't want you to do more than 3 emojis. He thinks you're spamming. He's warning you before he kicks you off. Bye, guys. Happy Turkey Day.